finally did it. After years of saving, after countless weekends of open houses, after getting outbid 6 times in a row, you finally bought that brand new house in one of those shiny subdivisions. Fresh paint, untouched countertops, that new construction smell everybody loves. Everything's perfect. Everything's pristine. Nobody's lived here before you. The brochure showed families on bikes, kids splashing in the community pool, maybe a Starbucks coming soon on that corner lot they've been clearing. Master-planned community, resort-style amenities, the lifestyle you've always wanted. Fast forward to 2025, your neighbors? Gone. Half the houses on your street never sold. The model home across the way? Sitting empty with a dead lawn. That pool they promised in the brochure? A fenced-off concrete hole with tumbleweeds rolling through it and kids' toys nobody ever picked up. Welcome to America's newest ghost towns. And no, I'm not talking about some forgotten mining village from the 1800s. I'm not talking about Detroit or some Rust Belt city that lost its factory. These are subdivisions built in 2022, 2023, brand spanking new, and they're already dying. Today we're driving through 10 neighborhoods that went from welcome home to welcome to the twilight zone faster than you can say adjustable rate mortgage. We're talking homes sitting empty for 500 days, builders giving away free Teslas just to get someone, anyone, to close. Streets where the only sign of life is the landscaping crew trying to keep the model home from looking haunted. And that city at number 1? They pulled over 200,000 construction permits in 2022. Now they've got the highest foreclosure rate in the entire country. Let's hit the road.
Number 10, Celina. You cruise into Celina about 45 minutes north of Dallas, expecting the next great Texas suburb. Billboards everywhere promising master-planned this and A-rated schools that. The lifestyle you deserve. Beautiful renderings of happy families, dog parks, jogging trails, maybe a cute downtown area coming soon. What you actually find is a sea of rooftops stretching to the horizon with for sale signs on every third house. Brand new construction sitting empty, model homes with nobody walking through them. That coming soon retail center, still a dirt lot. Here's what happened. Between 2021 and 2023, Celina became ground zero for North Texas home building. Toll Brothers, Highland Homes, Perry Homes, they all rushed in promising the next Frisco, the next Prosper. Every builder wanted a piece. They couldn't pour foundations fast enough. Well, the average new construction price in Celina just dropped over $200,000 from its peak last summer. Not a typo. $200,000. Gone. That's a 27% decline in 7 months. Think about that. You buy a house in July 2024 for $750,000. 7 months later, it's worth $550,000. You haven't even finished unpacking and you've lost $200,000. Homes sitting on the market for 154 days now. Used to be 84, nearly double. And about 70% of listings have had price cuts. 7 out of 10 sellers have already dropped their price and still can't find a buyer. One local agent said they're seeing incentives Celina buyers haven't seen since 2008. Remember 2008? Yeah, that worked out great for everyone. The kicker? They're still approving new subdivisions. Legacy Hills alone spans 3,200 acres, golf courses, retail, parks, the whole dream. Meanwhile, the houses that are already built can't find buyers. It's like opening a new restaurant in a half-empty mall. Optimism's impressive. Math is terrifying. We swing northeast for number 9.
Number 9, Princeton, Texas. Another Dallas exurb that exploded during the pandemic. Population nearly doubled. Builders pulling permits like they were printing money. Everyone wanted in. California money, New York money, Chicago money, all flooding into these little Texas towns nobody heard of 5 years ago. Now, Princeton has 587 active new home communities. Let me say that again, 587. With 106 builders all constructing homes at the same time. 106 different companies all betting that buyers will show up. That's not a housing market, that's a housing factory. And the factory's got way more product than customers. Homes sitting 70 days on average. And here's what builders are throwing at people just to move these things. 4.99% rate buy-downs, $55,000 off the list price, $6,000 toward closing, free appliances, extended rate locks. Some are offering to pay your first year's HOA fees, others throwing in free landscaping, free blinds throughout the house, anything to get you to sign. When builders start handing out $55,000 to sell a house, that's not a market normalizing, that's a market panicking. That's desperation dressed up as a deal. There are now over 105,000 vacant developed lots in North Texas, 29 months supply. Equilibrium is 24 months. Translation, enough empty lots to build houses for the next 2.5 years and nobody's buying. They've already put in the roads, the utilities, the street lights. Everything's ready, just no houses because there's no buyers for the houses that already exist. At the end of September, nearly 11,000 finished vacant homes in North Texas. Done. Air conditioning running, grass growing, nobody home. 11,000 empty houses just sitting there burning money for the builders every single day. One builder admitted their third quarter starts would be down 50%. Another said traffic dropped 30% as consumer confidence collapsed. When the guy selling you a house admits confidence has collapsed, maybe pay attention. Princeton's named after a cow, by the way. Literally. First settler's cow. Maybe that cow knew when to leave. We head west to the desert.
Number 8. Buckeye, Arizona. You point the car toward Buckeye, about an hour west of Phoenix, and immediately notice the contradiction. One side of the road, massive, master-planned communities with names like Tartesso and Festival Ranch and Sun City Festival. Beautiful signs, gorgeous renderings. Now selling from the low 400s. Your desert dream awaits. Other side of the road, signs about limited water supply. Notices about conservation. Warnings that this desert is, a desert. Buckeye was supposed to be the affordable answer to Phoenix. New homes under 400 grand when Phoenix proper was pushing 500. Space to breathe. Those Arizona sunsets everyone moves here for. The American dream on clearance. Then June 2023 happened. Arizona water officials dropped a bombshell. Phoenix and its suburbs had reached the anticipated limits of growth on groundwater supplies. Just like that. They stopped issuing water certificates for new developments around Buckeye and other outer suburbs. Nearly 500,000 homes are now on pause across the Phoenix metro. 500,000. Let that number sit for a second. Halted because there's literally not enough water to supply them. Not enough water in a desert. Shocking, I know. Buckeye's planning documents anticipate a city of 1.5 million people once everything's built out. Current population? About 120,000. They planned for 10 times the current size. In a desert running out of water. You can't make this stuff up. Some progress happened late this year. EPCOR, the water company, got rights to build 60,000 homes after the state updated some rules, but a state official said flat out that the new rules will never allow construction of all the homes stopped by the moratorium. Translation, some Buckeye subdivisions will never be completed, ever. Permanent ghost developments, streets paved to nowhere, utilities buried for houses that'll never exist, model homes with no neighbors, cul-de-sacs circling nothing. The Teravalis project promises 100,000 homes for 300,000 people. Marketing calls it one of the largest master-planned communities in the country. Meanwhile, scientists are warning Lake Mead could hit dead pool within the decade. The reservoir that supplies water to most of the Southwest might just run out. But sure, let's build 100,000 homes. We head to Sin City next.
Number 7. North Las Vegas, Nevada. You cruise into North Las Vegas expecting budget Vegas living, close enough to the Strip to feel the energy, cheaper than Henderson or Summerlin. New construction everywhere you look. What's not to love? What you find is a market in slow-motion collapse. November data shows Vegas homebuilders closed just 738 sales last month, down 31% from last year. That's not a dip, that's a crater. Permits down 28%. For the year through October, sales down 18%, permits down 25%. Builders aren't just slowing down, they're slamming the brakes. The National Association of Home Builders put it bluntly. Many potential buyers still remain on the fence, despite every incentive in the book. And what incentives? Local builders offering 2.5% rate buy-downs that aren't even advertised. You gotta walk in and ask. 15 grand toward closing costs, 20,000 in free upgrades, granite countertops, upgraded flooring, smart home packages, rate locks for 180 days so you don't get screwed if rates jump before closing. One builder representative admitted, "We need to clear phase 1 before we can start phase 2. That's corporate speak for, we've got houses sitting here that we can't sell and it's killing us. In places like the Villages at Tule Springs, homes keep going up. Photos from late November show construction crews still working, still building, still hoping. Hammers swinging, roofs going on, as if 2021 never ended. But the buyers are watching, waiting, calculating whether to catch a falling knife or let it hit the floor. They've seen what happened to people who bought at the top. They're not rushing into anything. Vegas built its identity on gambling. Now home buyers are the ones playing the odds, betting prices will drop more, betting rates will fall, betting the market will magically recover and they'll time the bottom perfectly. In Vegas, the house always wins. In North Las Vegas housing market right now, nobody's winning. Not the builders, not the sellers, and definitely not anyone who bought in 2022.
Number 6, Leander, Texas. You pull into Leander, just north of Austin, and remember when this was the hottest market in America. Not one of the hottest, the hottest. 2021. Bidding wars on every house. Homes going 100 grand over asking price. People waiving inspections just to get in the door. Cash offers showing up same day the listing went live. It was insane. That was 4 years ago. Feels like 40. October 2025 data shows Leander's market has split completely in two. Like somebody drew a line through the price chart. Under 300 grand, still moving. Activity at 50%, less than 2 months inventory. First-time buyers fighting over anything affordable. Above 700 grand, complete stall. Dead stop, crickets. Activity drops below 18%, inventory spikes to 15 months. 15 months. You could list your house today, and statistically, it might not sell until 2027. Listings piling up faster than they sell. Price cuts everywhere. Every week, another 50 grand knocked off. Above 900 grand, activity between 16 and 20%. Inventory past 11 months. These luxury homes, brand new construction, custom finishes, everything upgraded, just sitting there, waiting, hoping someone with money walks through the door. The broader Austin Metro tells the same story, just with bigger numbers. Median price around 440 grand now, down roughly 18% from the May 2022 peak of 550. That's over 100 grand in lost equity in 3 years. Zillow says Austin had more for sale listings in March 2025 than any March in their history going back to 2017. More supply than ever, less demand than anyone expected. Here's the one that gets me. 56% of all active listings in Austin are vacant. More than half the homes for sale in Austin are completely empty. No furniture, no cars in the driveway, just empty boxes waiting for someone, anyone, to buy them. 53% have price drops. More than half the sellers have already cut their price. Activity index at 21%, less than 1 in 5 listings going under contract. One guy on Reddit posted last month, "We bought in Leander in 2022 for $620K. Zillow now says $485K. We've lost 135 grand on paper. We can't sell. We'd have to bring 100K to closing. Can't refinance because we're underwater. We're just stuck. Trapped in a house we can't afford, in a neighborhood that keeps getting emptier." That's thousands of Austin families right now. The tech boom that created instant millionaires also created instant housing demand. Everyone wanted to live in Austin. Apple, Google, Tesla, all the startups, money flooding in. Then came the tech layoffs. Meta, Dell, Google, Amazon, dozens of startups folding overnight. All that instant demand became instant supply. The people who moved for jobs had to leave when the jobs disappeared. The ones who stayed couldn't afford the houses they bought when their stock options tanked. Tech boom turned into tech bust, turned into housing bust. Same story, different decade. Austin learned nothing from San Francisco. We head east to the Sunshine State, and it's not looking sunny. Number 5, Port St. Lucie, Florida. You roll into Port St. Lucie about an hour north of West Palm Beach, expecting the Florida lifestyle. Palm trees swaying in the breeze, beaches nearby, that warm weather everyone in New Jersey dreams about during February. And hey, it's cheaper than Miami or Fort Lauderdale. Win-win, right? What you find is a market drowning in oversupply. Houses everywhere. For sale signs on every block. New communities still being built even as existing ones can't sell. St. Lucie County has been tagged as the most overvalued county in Florida by multiple analysts. Not one of the most overvalued, the most. The gap between local wages and housing prices? Completely unsustainable. A teacher or nurse or retail worker making $50 grand a year cannot afford a $400,000 house, period. But that's what sellers wanted, and for a while during COVID, they got it. Now that bubble's deflating. Hard. Over 6 months of inventory now. For context, anything above 5 months signals a buyer's market where prices face serious downward pressure. St. Lucie County crossed that line and kept going. Builders are still marketing communities though. Glossy brochures everywhere, resort-style pools, 30,000 square foot clubhouses, vibrant 55-plus living, Florida lifestyle at its finest. Reality? Analysts say prices got 40% overvalued compared to local incomes. 40%. People paid 40% more than these houses were actually worth, based on what locals could actually afford. That pandemic migration that drove Florida's gold rush? Down 80% from its peak. 80. The remote workers who flooded the state when they could work from anywhere? They either went back to their offices or realized Florida in August is actual hell on earth. The retirees who cashed out up north? A lot of them discovered that affordable Florida isn't affordable when your insurance costs $6 grand a year and your HOA keeps raising fees. One homeowner listed for $265 grand after buying for $315 less than 2 years ago. $50,000 haircut in under 24 months. That's not a correction, that's a disaster. Unlike cities where land is scarce, where there's only so many houses that can exist, Florida sprawl has essentially unlimited room to expand. Builders can keep putting up identical houses on cheap plots forever. They'll keep building until someone tells them to stop. And nobody's telling them to stop. When land is abundant and inventory keeps growing, your home's value has nothing to do with scarcity, everything to do with timing. And if you bought at the wrong time, good luck. We stay in Florida for number 4. It gets worse.
Number 4. Cape Coral, Florida. You cruise into Cape Coral on the Gulf Coast and immediately notice for sale signs. Everywhere. Every block, every canal. Cape Coral became the poster child for Florida's oversupply crisis. Over 15,000 homes for sale in early 2025. 12-month supply. For perspective, balanced market is 5 to 6 months. Cape Coral has more than double that. 71 homes for sale per 1,000 residents, one of the highest anywhere. Hurricane Ian was the trigger, Category 4 in September 2022. Nearly $113 billion in damage, flooded thousands of Cape Coral homes. Damaged properties flooded the market. But problems run deeper than one storm. Insurance costs here have become weapons grade. Florida homeowners insurance now more than double the national average, 5 to 6 grand a year for a typical home. Premiums up 30 to 40% since 2022. One forecast says by 2050, nearly all Cape Coral homes will face flood risk. FEMA maps keep expanding. Each expansion, premiums climb. By March 2023, average sale price dropped to $399K, down nearly 4% from March 2022. Price per square foot down 5.5%. Trend continued through 2024 and 2025. Builders keep building though. Holiday Builders, Ryan Homes, all marketing new communities, cost-effective materials, incentives to attract buyers. When your new construction might be underwater, literally and financially, within a few years, those incentives look less like deals and more like desperation. Cape Coral's famous for its canal system, largest in the world, used to be the biggest selling point. Now those canals are pathways for storm surge.
feature that made the city famous is the feature making insurance unaffordable.
Number 3. Lakeland, Florida, Polk County. You roll into Polk County, sitting between Tampa and Orlando, wondering why this place keeps appearing in national foreclosure statistics. Here's why. Polk County has the highest foreclosure rate in the entire United States. 1 in every 172 homes filed for foreclosure in 2024, more than double the national average, 6 times higher than 2022. How did inland Florida County become America's foreclosure capital? Traces back to 2022, when builders pulled over 200,000 construction permits, far exceeding actual demand. As homes completed in 2023 and 2024, they hit a market where demand had evaporated. Massive oversupply, dramatic price reductions. Buyers who purchased at peak now owe more than their homes are worth. Underwater, negative equity, no escape hatch. Creates a vicious cycle. Declining prices lead to more foreclosures. More foreclosures depress values. Depressed values scare off new buyers. April 2025 data showed Florida trailing only Texas in foreclosure starts. Analysts pointed to soaring insurance premiums, post-hurricane debt, and mortgage rates that have left homeowners drowning. The human cost is devastating. These aren't statistics, they're families. A couple from Tampa moved to Lakeland in 2022 for affordable housing. Now they owe $80,000 more than their home's worth. A retiree sold his Jersey house, bought cash in Polk County, watched his safe investment lose 25% while insurance tripled. Worst part? No easy exit. Can't walk away without destroying your credit, can't sell without bringing money to closing. Trapped. One consumer attorney said it straight. If you live in or near Lakeland, you're in one of the highest risk foreclosure zones in the country right now.
Number 2. Kissimmee, Florida, Osceola County. You pull into Osceola County in the shadow of Disney World expecting tourist dollars and economic stability. What you find is a county drowning in new construction homes nobody wants. One analysis called Osceola's situation catastrophic oversupply of new construction. Numbers are staggering. Nearly 5,750 properties in some stage of foreclosure or pre-foreclosure in Osceola County alone. Not a correction, a collapse. Same story as Polk. Massive construction boom 2021-2022. Builders saw Orlando proximity, Disney, pandemic migration, and started pouring foundations fast as they could get permits. They overbuilt. Bad. Now those homes sit in subdivisions where entire streets stay dark at night. Amenities promised in brochures never got completed. Only traffic is real estate agents showing properties that won't sell. Airbnb makes it worse. Orlando's rental market collapsed as short-term rental oversupply pushed rates down. Rents dropped 18% as landlords slashed prices just to fill units. When landlords can't cover mortgages because rental income cratered, foreclosure's inevitable. Florida's now number 1 in the country for foreclosures, trailing only Texas in foreclosure starts, defying a national downturn. Economists warn worst isn't over. Forecasts suggest 2025 could bring 15,000 more foreclosures statewide. Osceola sits next to the happiest place on earth. For homeowners who bought at peak and watched equity disappear, magic's definitely gone.
Number 1. The Phoenix Metro Sprawl, Arizona. You drive into Greater Phoenix, Maricopa, Queen Creek, Santan Valley, Casa Grande, and see the same thing mile after endless mile. Subdivisions, brand new, perfect sidewalks that nobody's walked on. Dead lawns because nobody's paying for water. Houses with that fresh stucco look that have never been lived in, not once. Built, finished, and sitting empty. Arizona's got a unique distinction in 2025. The state's been building homes it cannot supply with water. Think about that for a second. They built houses knowing there might not be enough water to service them long term. As mentioned with Buckeye, water officials concluded Phoenix and surrounding areas had reached anticipated limits of groundwater supplies. The moratorium halted nearly 500,000 homes, but the damage was already done. Homes built before the cutoff now compete for buyers in a market drowning in supply, with buyers nowhere to be found. In some Phoenix suburbs, new construction is the vast majority of available inventory. Not just some, the vast majority. When most of your market is brand new homes competing against each other, price wars are inevitable. Builder against builder, subdivision against subdivision, desperation against desperation. And builders are panicking. I mean, really panicking. Incentives across Phoenix have reached levels not seen since 2008. Remember 2008? Foreclosure crisis? Economic collapse? Yeah, we're back to those incentive levels. D.R. Horton running red tag events, tens of thousands off select homes, like it's a car dealership blowout sale. Leander offering 3 different financing options, 5.375% with $8,000 toward closing, or a $25,000 incentive. Take your pick. Taylor Morrison with 2-1 buy-downs, first year rate at 2.99%, second year 3.99%, then market rate forever. Meritage giving up to $20,000 just to get you in the door. Toll Brothers offering 4.99 30-year fixed on quick move-ins. Houses they need gone, now. When every builder in a region is handing out $20,000 to $50,000 just to get anyone to buy, you're not watching a healthy market. You're watching desperation in real time. You're watching companies bleed money trying to move inventory they should never have built. Zombie subdivisions from 2008 are still visible if you know where to look. Casa Grande, Levine, Buckeye's outer edges. Some sat vacant for over a decade before slowly filling in. Half-finished infrastructure, abandoned model homes turned crack houses, streets that led to nowhere. Now new zombie subdivisions are forming, streets paved to nowhere, utilities buried for houses that may never get built, signs advertising communities that might never exist. Phoenix keeps growing though, still ranks among fastest growing metros. People moving for jobs, sunshine, lower cost of living compared to California. They see the sunshine and the mountains and they think paradise. But here's the thing, you can't drink sunshine, can't pay your mortgage with pleasant climate, can't keep your lawn green when the reservoir's running dry. Eventually, a city that keeps building in a desert running out of water hits a wall. That wall isn't coming. It's already here.
10 cities, 10 brand new neighborhoods, 10 warnings for anyone thinking about buying new construction in 2025. We drove through Texas suburbs with 105,000 vacant lots and builders slashing prices by $200,000 like they're trying to move last year's car models. Arizona developments halted mid-construction because the desert ran out of water. Who could have seen that coming? Florida counties with foreclosure rates double the national average and thousands of properties in various stages of financial distress. This isn't a correction. This isn't return to normalcy. This isn't the market finding a bottom. This is what happens when builders build for the 2021 market and try to sell into 2025 reality, when easy money disappears and the people who are buying houses with monopoly money during COVID suddenly can't afford the payments. Price reductions at all-time highs for new builds. Over 15% of listings nationwide had prices lowered last quarter. That's never happened before, not in the history of tracking this stuff. In the South and West, where oversupply is worst, more than 16% of new builds have seen cuts, nearly 1 in 5, and that number is still climbing. Builders offering incentives that would have gotten them laughed out of the room 3 years ago. $50,000 off, rates bought down to 3%. Free everything. Please, somebody, anybody, just buy this house so we can tell our investors we moved some inventory this quarter. And still homes sit empty. Still the inventory grows. Still the buyers wait. Because buyers aren't stupid. They see the writing on the wall. They know that catching a falling knife is a good way to lose your fingers. The builder's problem could be your opportunity, if you're careful, if you do your homework, if you buy in a market that actually has jobs and a future. But it could also be your nightmare if you buy into a subdivision that never fills up, in a market that never recovers, with a home that never regains its value. Before you sign that new construction contract, before you write that earnest money check, ask yourself one question. Will this neighborhood have neighbors in 5 years? Or will you be the last family standing in America's next ghost town? Because the people who bought in Lakeland thought they were smart. The families in Celina thought they found a deal. The couples in Buckeye thought desert living was the dream. Now they're stuck, underwater, watching their equity evaporate while their neighbors move away one by one. Don't be next.